What's up, nerds? My name is Brennan, the nerd of many faces, and to my right is, of course, Shane at FDScosplay, and to my left is the SassySwede. And we are the Knights of Nerd. Now, we all know that we've been on a bit of a hiatus. That was mainly my fault. Life found a way to, quote Dr. Ian Malcolm. But we're gonna get started back up again. Might as well hit the ball rolling with talking about the Book of Boba. But first and foremost, Shane, Swede, how are you two doing?
Wonderful. Just wonderful. Oh, it's
been 8 o'clock at night since
yeah. It's been a long break. It's been a nice break, but it's been a long break. But glad to be back. Glad to be back to talking about stuff that we love, and it's good to see your guys' faces. It's been a while.
I exist.
I know, right?
His imagination.
I know, right?
I work in healthcare.
And it's like, and popular to contrary belief, I am not dead.
You mean contrary to popular belief?
Yes.
Yes. Whatever.
Oh,
but
this is gonna be fun.
this is gonna be a fun episode because some of us have done some pre-gaming because it's been that type of a week for a lot of us.
Yes.
And it's, I mean, we're also recording on a Friday. It's like the time of recording. It is Friday, February 11th. Normally we do recordings on Sundays, but considering Super Bowl Sunday is, on this coming Sunday, it's like, I was talking to my parents earlier, and they're like, "Do you care who wins the Super Bowl?" I'm like, "Mom, Dad, I don't even know who's playing."
Oh, come on.
I don't know who's playing.
I don't care who wins. All I care about is the booze and the food.
That's yeah.
I mean,
who's playing? It is the Rams. It is the Rams from Los Angeles.
Okay.
And the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're playing in SoFi, which is the new home of the Rams, so they have home field advantage, and they are the first team in NFL history to play the Super Bowl on their home field. Okay, do I need to go into any more sports talk for you?
No. That is not the point of this podcast. No, I understood what he all said. Remember, I was like, I have family that lives in Minnesota and like the Midwest. Football to them is, religion.
Yes.
But to me, it's like, I'm agnostic when it comes to that.
And don't get me started on the baseball lockout right now, because that could be a whole other episode.
This past Wednesday, Book of Boba Fett had its season finale. We're saying season right now because it has not been confirmed or that there will be a season 2 or that there will not be a season 2. That's still in the works as far as we know. Is that, in terms of everything that we've heard, is that correct to both of you? I mean, Shane, you'd be the person to ask on this, considering that you have the tighter finger on the pulse of the Star Wars universe.
Right now, everything is hearsay. I mean, they're talking about it. They're probably about 90% sure right now that there's going to be a second season or a Mandalorian season 3.5, we should say, since this was kind of Mandalorian season 2.5.
That is a fair statement.
But time will tell. I mean, they really kind of did leave it open for just about anything that can happen, especially with the end credit scene that we saw Wednesday night. If you guys did not watch all the way through the credits, shame on you, because
we should know better.
Right, shame on you if you did not. That was amazing, and I mean, what can I say? I mean, it went by really fast. I mean, for 7 episodes, it felt quick. I wish there was more to tell. I could have done with a little bit more storytelling, but no, it was fun. It was definitely fun. It was a nice little tie-in to kind of bringing Boba and the Mandalorian to kind of, together, kind of, fit in the timelines of where kind of the Mandalorian takes place. Like, we know that it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi, but we've never really kind of had that feeling of what happened. We've had kind of little bit flashbacks of what happens between then and now, but it's kind of nice to kind of see it from Boba's perspective, because Boba got introduced into the Mandalorian in season 2, right? Yeah. And so it was kind of nice to see the coming out of the Sarlacc pit, how he survived, what went into that, and stuff like that. So some nice little story tie-ins and stuff like that. Kind of neat to see what we've read in literature for Boba Fett kind of come to fruition and come to life. I mean, without its flaws, it was a great show. Like with everything that we watch now, that whether it's Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, which is coming up soon, The Witcher, everything has its flaws, and for The Mandalorian, there were quite a few that people definitely had a very outspoken opinion on.
Yes, people were very It's like people were very vocal about this, and to kind of expound on that point as well. Like, I mean, what Boba Fett had 3 lines in it's like 3 lines in Empire and Return of the Jedi combined.
Yeah.
Like, you can go anywhere with that story, and also, folks, you try crawling out of a Sarlacc pit and see how well you like your job afterwards.
Well, here's my thing with everybody complaining about how Boba Fett wasn't the Boba Fett of before. I'm like, what are you even talking about? You never really saw him get in a fight, and when he did get in a fight, freaking he got taken out by a freaking gaffy stick to the back. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
What do you have it to compare to besides the comic books and the books? In live action, you don't have anything to go off of. Like,
no. If you were
in Empire, you see him 15 minutes total, maybe, if that. And you don't ever see him in action. You just see him taking Han and that whole thing on Cloud City, and then in Return of the Jedi, you finally see him in action, and he's garbage. I mean, seriously, think about it.
Yes.
In Return of the Jedi, if he was this badass that everybody is, talking about, he wouldn't have been taken out by a gaffy stick to the back. Like, come on. First off, he wouldn't have had his blaster cut in half by Luke Skywalker. Second of all, like, he's more badass now in the Book of Boba Fett than he was in the movies.
I mean, yes. No.
Yeah.
When you think about it, like, come on.
Mans came up on a Rancor and was like, I want to use my middle fingers. That's not ladylike.
Dude,
basically what he did.
He survived the Sarlacc pit and ended up the first 3 episodes in a bacta tank, killing himself.
Yeah, and
like, come on.
He was portrayed. He's portrayed as somebody that has life experience, that is thinking with his head and not a blaster or a lightsaber for once. They're trying to make it more of a political thing where they're like, okay, well, this is how this is gonna go. I'm gonna try to make sure I have all my ducks in a row. We're gonna try to be as accommodating of everybody as possible. They want to make sure that everybody is getting what they need.
Right.
But he's asserting that I am the head honcho. This is how it's gonna go. This is no longer Jabba the Hutt's territory. This is mine.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do things a certain way. And that was,
well, I
don't need drugs. I don't need all this bullshit. It's time to clean this up and move on.
I think the biggest thing that they did in the show is really kind of humanize Boba Fett to a certain extent, because he didn't want to repeat the same things that he did prior. He was trying to learn from his mistakes and not lead by what he has learned. He's trying to basically change his path and start his path anew. And for whatever reason, not very many people appreciated that. Like, I thought it was cool that he was relatable to the average Joe, to where, like, okay, you know, growing up, you know, I made a lot of mistakes. You know, now that I'm at a certain age in my life, and I've gone through all these things and I've survived this, I don't want to make those mistakes again to end up where I was.
Yeah, because
I want to learn from those mistakes, and I want to learn from the people that helped me get to where I am, and not let those people down. And that's what the whole thing was, especially with the Tuskens.
well,
Like the Tuskens,
Yes.
outside of what we saw, what his kind of family was in the Clone Wars, you know, he really didn't have a family in any of the films, so he was kind of a loner. And then coming into the Book of Boba, you seen that tie-in from, you know, Return of the Jedi to the 5 years of where the Mandalorian comes in, but you get that tie-in for, you know, what did Boba actually go through to get to where he's at now.
yeah,
And we saw him in the Mandalorian in that one episode where he's just kind of standing off like a freaking Tusken Raider.
mm-hmm.
And you're just kind of like, okay, how did he get there? Well, they explained it, and they did a great job. Now, granted, I was very, very upset that they took out the tribe. Like, those Tuskens were badass. Like, I love those Tuskens. Like, I have to make one of those suits. I have to make one of those costumes. I am actually... I'm in a building group. I'm in a building group for that costume. So,
Yes.
so I want to do that. I don't want to do the tribal chief or shaman or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just want a black Tusken because, you know, my favorite color is black. You know,
My favorite
I
episode
do
is when
everything black.
my favorite episode is when he's teaching him how to ride the speeder bike. That's
Oh my god!
favorite
He's
episode.
all,
Because first of all, it's funny because in the entire universe, not once do they actually have. I think other than the pod racing, do they actually have them learning how to fly something.
yeah.
And I loved it because it was so reminiscent of like teaching a friend how to ride a motorcycle,
Mhm.
which I've done, and it's so funny because it takes a while. It's always really bad, and it just. I love that he brought it and said, "Hey, I'm going to help you. I'm going to teach you for teaching me." And I appreciate that. This is a gift. You've welcomed me in. You're doing all that other stuff. Let's exchange
Right.
cultures
Yeah.
so I can help you out. And they had such an interesting time with that.
Oh man.
And then they're like gunning it.
Yeah.
And
it was fun
it
to
guns
watch.
it in reverse as opposed to
Oh,
going
yeah.
forward. I mean,
Oh,
they,
made my day.
like they had some very like good classic, like almost cartoony tropes
Yes.
in that.
Just cartoony enough.
Just cartoony enough that it's like, okay, it's like this is funny. And I will say it's like it's like in terms of like a cultural aspect of it, that the second episode where we see Tiamaru Morrison, is it Morrison or just Morris?
Morrison, I think.
Morrison, okay.
I believe, yeah.
Tiamaru Morrison goes to that one town to like be like, hey, knock it off.
Mm-hmm.
And he like just wrecks the bar with his whole entire, it's like with the gaffy, with a training gaffy stick.
Yeah.
Well, Tiamaru Morrison is a native New Zealander. He's an all definition of, is like, I mean, I say this with love, he's a Kiwi, and he's Maori, and you can see it in how he fights, and it's awesome because he's also the person to teach he's also the person who taught the people who were playing the Tusken Raiders how to wield their gaffy sticks.
Right.
And I'm like, that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I watched that. Sorry. I'll just finish this one point, and then it's like, and then go ahead. I slow that fight scene down because one of the things that I'm actually looking at are his eyes. I look for the expressions of like, because I have a lot of I have some friends from Hawaii, and my friend plays men's rugby for the USA team, and one of the things that they do is the haka, and it's like their eyes get so wide, and they have the whole entire thing with the tongue and I'm like, I am watching his eyes to be like, okay, how wide are they? How wide are his eyes? Because my guess is he is channeling the Polynesian Triangle right now.
Yeah, no, that was amazing. It was really neat to see that aspect of it, because especially with the Tuscans, because they have a certain way of life. Like they're like each tribe is different, right? I mean, they're Tuscan Raiders, but what we know of Tuscan Raiders is they travel in single file to hide their numbers.
Yeah,
these guys didn't do that.
No.
They traveled as a pack and to show their numbers, to make those footprints in the sand to keep people out of their territory, right? So it was really neat to see, kind of almost like oh god, I'm blanking on the movie right now. Kevin Costner.
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
Yes.
It was kind of like that. Kind of like that style of like that outsider coming in and learning their ways, and that is why Boba's the Boba that we know now, and not from before, because all he knew before then was being a so-called bounty hunter, and that's it. Like, he didn't have any family. He was a complete loner. There wasn't anything. I mean, he had the small stint, with the crew from the Clone Wars. I mean, he learned a lot from Cad Bane, which that was amazing, seeing him, and then the conversation between them that, Cad Bane's last thing saying is, I'm going to teach you one last thing. You're just like, oh, shit. And, but that's all he's had. That's all he's had up until this point. So, learning basically a different religion per se, or different,
a different way of life.
Yeah, a different way of life really helped change his aspects of things. Instead of just being about Boba, with him losing the Tuscans,
he's about having a family.
He's about having that family unit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why you see him, take her to
the mod shop
to save her life, so because he's looking for that new tribe, and that's why he's got the racers.
The mods,
kids.
The mods, Chrysanthemum, which is another, and when I saw Chrysanthemum walk on screen, I'm like, oh no, I am so excited right now, but also, oh no, wait, Boba Fett has kicked his ass every single time that they've fought, so okay, but yeah, okay, he's not 100% yet, so Chrysanthemum might
beat his ass.
Beat him. Oh, I really want to see this fight. And I got a little bit of it, of like the Boba Fett versus Chrysanthemum fight. But then when Chrysanthemum goes against the Trandoshans, it's like somebody went full Wookiee.
Yeah, that was that whole sequence. Like, I like that they brought the Hutts into it. Like, I wish they would have expanded a little bit more onto that. Like I like the Hutts. Like, I love Jabba. Like, I like that whole kind of mobster. I thought that would have brought something a little bit more to the show, if per se, instead of it just being, the different bosses and oh man, why am I blanking? I just had the name. The Pike Syndicate.
Oh.
You know, as the main protagonist. Like, if you had the Hutts in there, like, I love that. Like, I love that episode where, you know, he's walking out of the casino, and they're right there, and then you've got, you know, the Wookiee, and you're just like, oh, this is about to go down. This is about to be some messed up stuff. Like, oh shit. And then they just kind of have the conversation go away, and then they send them to freaking assassinate Boba, and then that's it. And you're just like, like.
Yeah, I will have to say it was a little bit of a letdown that we didn't see more of that fight. Yes, I will 100% agree with it. But I am very much like 100% on board with them introducing the character of Chrysanthemum.
Yes.
Which it's funny because it's like, I guess the Reddit community has nicknamed him Black Cranston because they couldn't say Chrysanthemum. And then it's interesting because the show then kind of gives him a nickname of Santo. So it's like, for those that cannot understand, you know, Wookiee, in terms of like, they have a lot of R's, a lot of S's, like they have a lot of triple letters in their words.
Like, can we just talk about really quick, you know, Danny Trejo being the Rancor keeper here for a quick second?
I wanted more of him.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching this my main focus is on this Rancor coming up. I'm like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait, is that Danny Trejo?
A lot of people. It's funny because you're not the.
Such a good time.
He did.
It's like, you're not the only person to have that reaction. But the thing is that we also know that his character is not dead.
No, he's not.
Because here is an interesting little bit of movie trivia for the both of you. Danny Trejo has it written in his contracts that if he plays a bad guy, he has to die. Yeah. It's because due to the fact that he has spent time in the criminal justice system. And he wants to basically not have the message of crime pays. So anytime that he's a bad guy, he has to die.
Now he's a good guy. Yeah. I just love how they're like, oh, it's a baby, and it's this huge giant thing, and then the first thing Boba says is, I want to ride it. I'm like, yeah.
I would have loved to be a fly. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when Robert Rodriguez was like, I'm going to call up my buddy Danny Trejo. Hey, Danny, what are you doing this week? Oh, nothing, just, you know, running the restaurant, you know, not got nothing going on. You want to be in my Star Wars show? Yes.
Say no more, man. I'm on my way.
I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh,
well, I mean, if they filmed it in London, it's like I'll have to get a plane ticket first.
Right. Yeah. No, that was fantastic, and I love the fact that they showed him, you know, basically showing Boba how to train the Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome.
Is that the spot? Is that the spot?
Baby Rancor, and then you get the nice ending where they're like, "Stop! You're scaring it because it's a baby.
Yeah,
It doesn't know any better." And then you get Grogu. That's just like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's okay, man. And he's like, I'm tired. I'm gonna take a nap.
I'm just gonna lay next to it.
Grogu and the Rancor both take. It's like nap time.
Here's a good pillow. I'm just gonna lay my head down right here.
Babies need a nap.
It's like the cuteness overload. Like went up to 11 right there.
Of course, my sick and twisted brain was sitting there going like, okay. He somehow put this Rancor to sleep, and he's like an inch from his mouth. Rancor's just gonna go, haha, fooled you, bitch, and just eat baby Grogu.
We all thought it, but you said it.
Yeah, we did. It's like I was thinking the whole entire time. It's like, oh, please don't let the Rancor eat Baby Yoda. Please don't let the Rancor eat Baby Yoda.
I was like, all right, well now we know what happens to Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I know, because. There was that scene that it was in the episode 6 where Luke says, it's like, okay, Grogu, you have to choose.
Yeah.
Between your friend the Mandalorian and this gift, or the way of the Jedi. which I'm like, I kind of don't I kind of don't understand that. Now maybe it's because I don't know I'm not a.
Okay, I have to talk on this because it's
I'll let you know.
so yeah. So that whole scene went against what Yoda was trying to teach Luke and
Exactly! Exactly!
Here's the other thing that really kind of drove me crazy about it. We already know who Luke's
First
student was, which was Ben Solo.
Wouldn't you say Leia was his first student?
Not for the academy.
Okay.
For the academy.
Okay.
Was Ben? They said that in episode 8.
Yeah.
That Ben was his first student, and they said that in the Kylo Ren comic books that Ben was his first student. So we know that Grogu's not going to choose the damn lightsaber. He's going to. So like, you didn't need to have that whole thing. Like it was very much like you've already told us who the first student is. So why are you even like leading to this? Like, let Luke teach Grogu how to use his powers because he's forgotten how to. Because they already tied him into Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
He was at
the temple in Coruscant.
When that went down, so he was already going through training.
Yeah.
So because of that, he probably shut himself off from the Force, and that's why he's tired now. Whenever he uses it, because he shut himself off from it for so long, because he probably felt that he was going to be,
triggering all those memories.
That he was going to be hunted down by Darth Vader or whatever, somehow. So that was the only thing about the whole thing between Luke and Grogu that I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
Just for that fact, and for the simple fact that went against everything that Yoda was trying to teach Luke.
Exactly.
Yeah, because the thing is that it's like Yoda saw. It's like one. It's like it becomes more apparent in Episode 8. It's like the way that the Jedi thought for years is broken. Stop it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And bring it back to Ahsoka.
Yeah, and yeah.
Right. I did love that exchange between her and Luke, where she's like, "You're so much like your father."
Yes.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
In absolutes, I love that she's like, "Well, I'm not going to give you any kind of way or opinion in the other. You need to make a decision what you think is best for him."
Yeah.
Now I'll do whatever you'd like. But she clearly was really hesitant because she's just like,
that's because that leads back to how
with Luke.
Well, not only that, but it also leads back to how she was treated by the Order in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, it's like Ahsoka has not had the best treatment. It's like in terms of training, acceptance in the Jedi Temple. Because, she's fairly assertive, she goes through and speaks her mind, but Ahsoka always had the best intentions for everyone involved at heart.
Yep.
It wasn't this whole entire thing of like, oh, it's like, I need to do this to increase my power for the sake of the dark side, or, oh, I need to do this for the good of the Jedi Order. It's like, I need to do this for the good of the people on this planet.
Right. She's very much of what Anakin could have been.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If he did not go over to the dark side, one, because she was his apprentice. Two, is all of her learnings came from him when he was still part of the light, not part of the dark. So
she watched the transition.
Right. A lot of her actions, her thought processes and stuff like that come from her training with him, and with him doing things not as perfectly orthodox to the Jedi Order, not to the script of like, this and this. He wasn't that cookie cutter Jedi like Obi-Wan and Yoda and Qui-Gon and
I wouldn't say. Hold on. Qui-Gon was cookie cutter. I'm sorry, but
neither was Obi-Wan.
Yeah, they were.
It's like Obi-Wan was more cookie. I will say Obi-Wan was more cookie cutter than Qui-Gon.
Yes.
But Qui-Gon.
Cookie cutter. What I mean by following the order.
They
present themselves as following the order.
Wait, what?
When necessary.
Yes.
What? Qui-Gon it's like wants to train Anakin, but it's like Anakin Skywalker, but yet he is too old, but deemed by the Jedi Council, and says, well, "We're taking him with us anyways."
Yeah.
Okay.
How is that cookie cutter?
They did it with Luke.
Because they had no other option. It's like, let's see. As far as we knew, it's like in Luke's, it's like in A New Hope. It's like Ben Kenobi / Obi-Wan Kenobi was the only living Jedi at the time.
Apparently not.
Well, I mean, I say yes. At the time, it's like a time of production. It's like, okay, he was the only living Jedi, but also, well, between him, Yoda, we can't say that Ahsoka is a Jedi. She's a Force user. I will 100% say that, and she's very well trained in the skills of the lightsaber. But she is not a Jedi. She has stated so herself. That it's like I have
a feeling that they're leading along the lines of her as being a gray Jedi.
Yes.
She is.
That's what she is.
Don't convince me otherwise. Even in the official literature and some of these newer books where they actually show all the sabers, all the masters, all that other stuff, her sabers are gray. They're white.
Yeah. Her sabers are white, which are often it's like gray Jedis have weird lightsaber kyber crystal colors because they're either like white in terms of canonic colors, which also give me silver. I think orange is also one too.
I don't think orange is a gray.
No, the orange wasn't the orange used by the.
I mean, it was used by the kid in.
Two.
Huh?
It was... One or two.
No, those were the because you had the Sith acolytes and the Jedi.
The Guardians. The Guardians are yellow. Guardians are yellow. Yeah. Guardians are 100% yellow.
I thought they were orange.
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back through. I'm gonna have to look that up because. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. So.
Yeah. It's in Rebels. It's in Rebels. Where Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, I can't remember his name, but Kanan, he goes into that weird place of the Force and fights the Inquisitor that was chasing him throughout seasons 1 through 3.
Yes, because I think it's only 4 seasons.
Well, okay, then it might have been just the first season because it's like that.
I'll tell you how many seasons it is right now. Hold on, I have them all right here next to me.
But
no,
but well, let's get back on the
seasons. 4 seasons.
Okay, 4 seasons. So maybe like the first 1.5. It's like 1 to 1 to 1.5. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Seasons.
I had to move my chair in my office away from my Blu-rays because I've got all my Star Wars. All my Star Wars movies take up like one shelf.
But I feel that with the Book of Boba, it's like I want to kind of address the negativity that's been surrounding it a little bit. Now, it's not negativity in terms of like it's almost like negativity and pseudo gatekeeping of superfans.
Yeah, it's the gatekeeping in the Star Wars community. Unfortunately, is kind of gnarly.
Yes.
But with Boba, unfortunately, it's significantly more because he's a well-known character, and everybody has this idea in their minds that he's supposed to be Captain Badass all the time, but they have to realize that there's a time progression. Age. They're going through things. He was not Sarlacc pit. he has to recover and progress, and he spent all that time in the desert when he was not fully himself.
Yeah.
Now as he's trying to heal, he's recovering from that significant emotional loss.
Having a lizard go up his nose.
Yes. But losing that family that he never had.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's going smarter, not harder. And people have a hard time that he's an older guy now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He's human. He really is just trying to find where he fits in. That's safe for his family.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to think about it too.
His family. Yeah.
How many people in their life that has gone through a traumatic experience does not try to change how they are or how they live their life? You
look at Jinjarin.
Yeah, like Boba went through a traumatic experience and he got eaten by a freaking Sarlacc pit. God damn it! And spent almost 5 years in the damn thing, or however long it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 5 years, pretty much. That's when the Mandalorian takes place. So
yes, it is. Yeah, it's 5.
So yes, 5 years in a damn Sarlacc pit, being digested by a creature,
and living off whatever it is.
Yeah, and you're expecting this guy to come out to be the same, like.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like life and death experience. It's like, none of us have had a life and death experience, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that every one of us here would very much have a different standpoint in regards to what it is that we were doing.
I mean, how screwed up would you be if you're sitting in a freaking stomach of a beast with a freaking decomposing stormtrooper sitting across from you for 5 years?
They were alive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What happens if it ingested something that was living? You would have to kill that other person.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be killed.
Yeah.
And then, at that point, depending on what species that is, and the fact that he could have resorted to cannibalism while he was in there.
Yep.
That's going to mess somebody up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only I would think of that.
So one other thing that that I can understand some of the frustrations. I don't want to say hate because I don't like saying hate for anything. So the frustrations about it, because it frustrated me, was the fact that I'm gonna say it just because that's what I grew up knowing what a ship was called. The Slave One took it to the Sarlacc pit and went looking for his armor, and the Sarlacc pit grabbed onto the Slave One and pulled this freaking thing down with all of its might. Now,
it couldn't pull Lando Calrissian?
Lando Calrissian down? He's just a damn man holding onto a taffy stick. Like, that much power would have pulled him, Han, Chewie, the whole freaking skiff down with it. Like, bruh. Like, come on.
Where you were going.
Like, come on, man. Like, that out of everything in the show, that is what triggered me. Was the Sarlacc pit taking Slave One and trying to eat it, and the whole time I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, Lando must be fucking Superman. He's got to be superhuman to be holding himself up like that.
Either that or Lando is really, really heavy.
Right? Like, oh my gosh. But that was the only thing that really kind of just, I was just kind of like,
okay, I'm nitpicking, and that's what I'm choosing.
Yeah, right. Everything else, like, dude, I enjoyed the hell of it. I love the tie-ins to. It's Filoni. Like, I love the fact that this man is tying in the animated stuff that we've watched over the past 20 years now. Has it been 20 years almost?
Don't do it. Don't do the math. Don't do the math, because we are all going to feel very, very old once you do.
I love the fact that he's tying all of this stuff together with these.
Yes.
Bringing in Cad Bane, bringing in some of the legends, bringing back Cobb, the Marshal, bringing him back in, because we've only ever seen him in a comic book, bringing him in season 2 of The Mandalorian, and then bringing him back, in the Book of Boba and stuff like that. And, I was reading a thing today where, we got our announcement for Obi-Wan for
Mhm.
May 25th,
Oh,
Yep.
I'm so excited.
and everybody's bitching that it's on Tatooine. Well, where the hell's it gonna be? Like, Jesus, come on!
I will say that Tatooine does seem. It's like, I mean, it's like for anybody who's out there that's like, you know, a newbie to the Star Wars universe. I will say this: Tatooine is like the nexus of all things Star Wars. It's
Like,
is.
you guys are pissed off because they're doing an Obi-Wan show and it's on Tatooine? Where the hell do you think he spent all those years?
The only thing I'm gonna be upset about, and I'm allowed to be upset about, is guess who's not canon right now?
Who is not canon right now?
Mara Jade.
Oh yeah.
He's not canon right now.
True.
So
Hopefully we'll get that. Hopefully we'll get that.
that would be great, because after they did that period where they just decided, you know what, these books, nah. All
Yeah.
the extra literature, and then they got so much backlash for it. They brought some of it back. They're writing new stuff, and it's just like, I don't know. This
One more thing that I read today on I can't remember the name of the website. Oh crap. Oh, why am I blanking right now?
Is it Rotten Tomatoes?
No, it wasn't Rotten Tomatoes. It was a geek site, and they're talking about it's just a rumor right now. Now we all know rumors don't always come true, but speaking of legends,
Mm-hmm.
it is if not my most favorite book of all time that I've ever read in any universe, Star Wars, whatever. Shadows of the Empire is looking to get a live action adaptation.
Okay.
So, with that said, I'm using that to segue into God, that deepfake Luke Skywalker was fucking bitching.
We don't need Sebastian Stan anymore, and regardless of how much he looks like.
Talk about
I would be very, very happy and very ecstatic if Sebastian Stan would like grace our presence as Luke Skywalker, but it's now not needed.
Yeah.
Like, did Disney go to the guy that did the deep fake after the Mandalorian episode came out? Was like, you want a job?
Quite possibly.
Because it's like, I was talking to my wife. I was like, you know, they probably went to that guy and was like, hey, we'll give you the money, we'll give you the technology that you need. You just make Luke look real. Okay, no problem. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just watching that, and I'm just like, how, like, it looked like they did some time manipulation, went back in time and grabbed Mark Hamill and brought him, I was just like,
it looked so good.
oh crap, like, that was amazing.
It did.
So, like, I can see there are some flaws to it, just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
like very like like I know with the progression of the technology,
Yeah.
that the expressions and just the whole facial movement and stuff like that, they can get it knocked down like 1,000%. But that was like just a tidbit.
Good,
like
yeah.
that was just was amazing. I'm just sitting there like, how the hell did they do this?
As much as
Like,
I
how?
wasn't a fan of those particular episodes, it's because I felt like it could have been done in The Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
and they could have expanded in The Mandalorian, and then brought it back, and then have like two nice crossovers in both series.
Yeah.
We did not need that whole training arc in Book of Boba. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be that person. I think they could have done tidbits, and we could have pieced it together, because not that much happened in that period of time.
But
I wanted to
the
see
thing
more of
is, the reason why we got more of that, the reason why we got that was because when they originally announced the Book of Boba Fett, it was basically a continuation of the Mandalorian storyline. So it was basically season 2.5 instead of season 3. It was kind of our carryover between that, to give us kind of that tie-in of like, okay, you guys gave us Boba Fett, so how did he get from point A to where he's at now? And that's why we got the Mandalorian in half of the season, the other half of the season, because they told the story that they needed to tell. Now they're coming full circle back into the Mandalorian universe that they're at to finish telling that story.
Well,
it was too long for me.
Well,
it was too long.
To address your point, Swede, in terms of the whole entire thing about it being too long or something along those lines, it's like this is going to be like a two-parter. One, where it's like the question that in terms of storytelling is where would they put it otherwise? If they put it, it's
the placement. I agree with.
Okay.
It was appropriately placed chronologically within the series. It made sense to put it there. I'm just saying that we didn't need that whole weird training arc. We could have filled that in ourselves, and took that creative liberty to just fill that in ourselves.
Come on, I enjoyed the
cute. I liked it.
I enjoyed the Grogu and Luke and the whole Yoda montage thing.
I just think it would have been better over there in its own show.
But to address,
I wanted more of the Hutts.
But to address what it's like, because Shane, you brought up something that was very interesting. That I'm kind of sort of like, it's like, oh, that's how this is. So, the Book of Boba Fett is what Shadows of the Empire is to episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
It's the story involving the same people, but yet it's kind of this whole entire side tangent.
Yeah. And for our viewers, really quick, if you don't know what Shadows of the Empire is, go grab the book and read it. It's amazing. It's basically a story set up between episodes 5 and 6. Basically, Luke and Leia and Lando looking for Han. So that's all I will tell you. If you want to know more, go read more, because it's got some of the best characters in Star Wars to date, with 2 characters. I'm not going to say their names because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, because I am hoping hope against hope that we get to see a couple of those characters in a season 2 of The Mandalorian. Or not The Mandalorian, sorry, the Book of Boba Fett. I am hoping, and I am hoping to get to see another character with Luke. I hope that we get a Luke Skywalker and Jedi Academy with a Kyle Katarn being one of the students learning the ways of the Force, to tie in the Jedi Knight video games from back in the day. That would be freaking amazing. Sorry, I just went on a whole rant.
No worries.
No, you're our resident Star Wars.
You're our resident Star Wars guy. It's like, I mean, if anything, it's like, okay, Shane, talk. Go. There's our episode. Yeah. We're done.
Because once we get to Lord of the Rings, it's on.
I got Lord of the Rings locked down too.
Oh no, I'll fight you.
Oh, let's go.
All right. I got my copy of the Similarion too.
Okay.
Nice.
It's like,
very nice.
I can put you in both corners right now, so don't.
Where in the corner?
No, you guys are the sides. I can send you to the corners.
Midstream, how dare you?
It's like, you're gonna go over here, you're gonna go over there.
Don't do that because you'll crash everything now.
It's not my computer that has the issue. Not my computer that's having the issue.
Right. Oh man. But yeah, no, dude. This Mandalorian 2.5 or Book of Boba Fett season 1, however you want to see it, dude. Other than some small pieces to it, which I haven't gotten into another one, which it's just popped into my head again. You and I talked about it a little bit, but dude, it was fun. Mm-hmm. It was enjoyable. Would there be some things that I would change? Absolutely. Of course, that's just me being nitpicky. You know what I mean?
That's like, just us as fans. There's always gonna be something that we would do differently. Yes.
I would reshoot the car chase scene, because that was way too slow and very clunky, and just probably one of the worst like chase scenes in any Star Wars thing ever. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. That was, other than the whole Sarlacc pit, that bothered the whole Vespa speeder thing didn't bother me at all. The mods didn't bother me at all. Just the speed of that chase. Like I told you earlier, Brendan, I could have gotten out and ran faster than those freaking bikes were going.
Yes, but I would contest that the speeder bikes could last longer than you could run.
And that's why I said I would throw my lightsaber at them. So,
but there is no
knowing you and your accident proneness, you would either trip and impale yourself on your own lightsaber.
Probably true.
Or you would throw it, and the wind of the train or whatever, cut your own head off.
It's like, no, he goes to throw his own lightsaber. He turns it on too late, and it chops off his own arm.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, it's a Star Wars show. Somebody's got to lose a limb.
Well, we do have Jin cutting himself with the Darksaber, and that's the most realistic Star Wars thing I've ever seen.
Amazing! Oh my god! When he's sitting there and he's going through and he's taking out those guys, and he hurts his leg, and I'm sitting there, I'm all, no, he didn't just do that, did he?
He did.
I loved it.
My wife's like, he just really cut himself with the Darksaber, didn't he? I'm like, no, he didn't. No. I was like, no, he didn't. I was like, no, he
had to learn how to use it.
I was like, he got hit with a blaster shot. That's what that was.
Then you watch it again, and then it's like,
and
oh crap,
he did. I'm just like, holy shit, he hit himself in the leg with the damn Darksaber.
See,
that was awesome.
For the other side of this conversation or this debate in terms of the speeder chase, because yeah, I will agree it was rather slow. However, the mayor's aide is not really probably trained in high speed evasions in a speeder, and also he's it's like in terms of where the mayor's office is in Mos Espa, it's in the middle of town. He's gonna have to drive all the way out to get to some like flat area, because there is no did you guys see a freeway in those overhead shots? I know I didn't.
Bro, you play Grand Theft Auto, haven't you?
Oh, okay, yeah. But
run people over.
His shining moments in the entire series, other than him being a brown noser, was him reading the demands. I knew it was gonna happen.
That was great.
Yup.
Oh, that was so awesome.
I rewinded it and watched it like 3 times because I knew it was gonna be golden.
Oh man.
I will have to say that I am saddened that we will get no more Jennifer Beals. It's like her character was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was great.
And
it looked great visually, and then it translated so well into her being part of
it's like part of the Mandalorian. It's like the whole entire thing is like, you know, she's the diplomat.
Yeah. She's
the diplomat that Boba Fett needs to have on his team, and it's like that's what I was kind of hoping would happen, but unfortunately, that didn't necessarily. Well, of course, granted, yes, we see the explosion, we see the whole entire like zoom.
We don't necessarily know she's dead or
not. It's the whole entire thing of like
she got vaporized. I'm sorry,
blew up.
I know. Yeah. Just let me hold out some hope. But it's like in terms of what's coming up in terms of the Star Wars universe, in terms of what hold on. In terms of what I'm excited for and whom I'm hoping that we will soon eventually see are Thrawn and Ezra.
Yes.
I want to know what happens when you get transported through hyperspace on the back of a space whale.
You know, I mean, you're upset about, you know, a Twi'lek getting blown up, but you know, I was really upset that Max Rebo got blown up too. I mean, dude, he survived the freaking Jabba Cell's barge getting blown up, man.
Yeah.
He survived deserved all that just to get blown up here? Come on!
Wait, was he on that day?
Yes! He was playing the piano!
Oh no,
Yeah.
Max. R.I.P. Max.
Crushed his shoulder. His soul
Rest-
a little bit.
Rest in peace, Max Rebo. Can we put up a rest
In
in
memoriam
peace
scene.
in memoriam thing at the end of this episode, Max Rebo,
Max Rebo episodes. I'll have to go through and watch like all the Star Wars, and it's like episodes. It's like
it'd be episode 6.
Episode 6 through episode. Wait, yeah, through episode. It's like through Book of Boba Fett.
If I remember, it's gonna be.
I'll have to do it in the.
So 23. So it'd be F Y 4 years Battle of Yavin.
Yes, FYBBY.
BY to 9.
BBY, yeah.
9 years Battle of Yavin.
ABY.
Yep. So there you go.
It's BBY. Okay.
BBY. There.
I have a task.
ABY would be after Battle of Yavin. There you go. ABY.
Yeah.
ABA. Yeah. Whatever.
ABY.
You'll get it.
All right.
ABY. Yeah. ABY. After Battle of Yavin.
Swede, in terms of the Star Wars universe, what are you hoping to see as we come to a close of this episode? I said Swede, not Shane.
Exactly what it is.
Oh, my bad.
You already gave your opinion.
No. He has lots of opinions.
He has lots. He has
I have lots and lots.
Opinion. No,
Yes.
I hope we get another season of Mando. As
Mando
far
season
as
3 is in
anything-
production.
Yeah, and see the progression of, okay, now that Grogu has decided, I'm not choosing this path. I'm choosing to stay with the Mandalorian. I want to see them and then maybe go back to Mandalore and maybe try to reclaim his honor. At that point, he is very insistent on calling Grogu a foundling.
Mm-hmm.
And now that the armorer has basically said, you're not welcome here. As much as we want you here, you have taken your helmet off. You're not a true Mandalorian.
You must be cleansed by the waters under the mines of Mandalore.
Yes, which, according to the Mandalorian himself, doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
Right.
So I want to see what they do about that and how he brings up Grogu to be a foundling, which I think would be really, really interesting. I love that dynamic that he said, okay, I'm making my own family. I'm being disconnected from this one. I know why. It's not because of a death or anything like that. It's okay, I need to reclaim my religion and my honor and figure out what his religion means to him. Because then you look at him interacting with Boba and taking his helmet off and doing all that other stuff, showing his face. It would be interesting to see him explore his religion.
It is kind of interesting that you just mentioned the whole entire, you see, it's like, Din Djarin, sees Boba takes his helmet off. You can almost see, the physical cringe that Din Djarin has in terms of, you're taking off your helmet. I don't like it!
Yeah, and I think he...
But I'm not going to say anything about it.
understands.
Yeah, he understands the reason why.
And I love that they put that as when he's traveling to say, my weapons are part of my religion. And they're like, put him in the crate. Because I know exactly what's in there. I was like, that's such a dad thing to do. Dadalorian
Right.
And it's like the repurposing of the pilots from the Star Tours ride into the Book of Boba Fett as card dealers, TSA agents, and your random pilots. You know, good on you, Disney, for reusing and recycling.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, go ahead, Shane.
One of the things this is going to be interesting to see is because with the announcements of all the different shows and stuff like that, you had the spin-off, the Gina Carano spin-off that they canceled, the
Rangers of the Republic.
Rangers of the Republic.
Yeah.
So from what I'm understanding, they're going to be taking some of that kind of storyline and stuff like that, integrating that into the Mandalorian.
Okay.
To tell this, to kind of, so without Cara Dune in there, they're gonna have some sort of, from what I'm understanding, they're gonna bring some of that into kind of tie into the Mandalorian, since that was gonna be the spinoff, and since they canceled the show because of all of that. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they do that.
Before I forget, we're gonna talk about this. The mechanic, what was her name?
Played by Amy Sedaris.
She dated a Jawa. We need to address that.
And they're quite furry.
I'm like,
okay. So the episode after that one, or was it the same one? It might have been the same one. No, it was the same one, because Din was in his Naboo starfighter, and he was flying to meet with... No. Was that the same? I'm mixing up my episodes right now, but when he went to go out to Freetown...
Yeah.
To meet Cobb, and he passes the sandcrawler with the Jawas on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You notice the Jawas' hands, right?
They're all they all have furry hands.
They're furry.
Basically look like black Ewoks.
Yeah. So I'm curious.
Are they Ewoks underneath those?
Maybe distant cousins / common ancestry.
Maybe, I don't know, because I had to go back and I had to pause the episode to look at the hands, because I'm just a freak like that.
Yes.
Because the hands and the fur, I was like, that's a damn Ewok underneath those robes. Like, seriously, when you go back and you look at the fingers and the design of the fingers and the hand and the hair and everything like that, it literally looks like an Ewok's hand.
I love the relationship that she's developed with. I'm sad that we're losing Cara Dune as a character because of some personal choices of the actor. I'm curious to see how they're going to transition into not having her there, because she was central and that was somebody that the Mandalorian trusted and trusted to be around Grogu.
I have a theory, but it's
share with the class.
Yeah.
So this is in regards to also the tie-in, or the tie-ins that we've had in the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, and it mainly has to do with the end credit scene. The end.
Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta be specific.
Yes. Okay, but it's I guess I'm putting a spoiler tag on this anyway, so yeah, whatever. But we see Cobb Vanth in the back of the tank.
Mm-hmm.
He could be a ranger of the New Republic. And
no, he's not. He's not.
Why?
Okay.
What did Boba say at the end of that last episode?
It's in use.
No. When him and Finnick are having the conversation about him running Tatooine and all of the districts, he's not going to do it.
I don't think is he
going to have Cobb Vanth? Yeah,
Cobb Vanth's going to be the one that's running Tatooine and running Mos Espa and all that stuff.
Oh.
So they just freed Boba and Finnick up to travel with the Mandalorian.
So we now get justified in space, is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Which I'm not too entirely upset about. If they bring back some of the people that was unjustified, I will gladly watch that show.
But I mean, when you think about it, he's the perfect fit for it, because he was running Freetown.
He was running. He was running.
They were very happy with him.
Yeah. So why not put him in charge of everything? Because he's the one that could bring, the peace and the happiness back to that region, to where, yeah, Boba probably could, but Boba doesn't want to have to run it with fear and stuff like that, and he doesn't. And he even said it. He doesn't like it when people are bowing to him and treating him like he's royalty. Yeah. So why not have Cobb? Have Boba be the main guy, but make Cobb the face of everything and let him run it as he sees fit. Yeah.
Why is it the right arm? All right. That is all the time that we have for this discussion today. We could talk about this for hours and hours and hours.
I'm not done yet. I still got time. No.
No more alcohol.
I got a fridge full.
I know. That's why we're ending the episode.
Yes.
He's gonna be at the Super Bowl and he's gonna be freaking Star Wars.
Right. Oh, you know it's gonna be because I'm gonna be at Sean and Lisa's house.
Exactly. And you're gonna
And
see
we're gonna-
his Mando sitting there in the corner, and you can be like, you know what? And you're just gonna start launching into all these theories,
Oh, I am. I always do.
and they're gonna
And-
sit there and be drunk with you doing the same thing.
But it is good. It is good to be back. It is good to
Yes, it
have
is.
these in-depth discussions with you, Shane, and you, Swede. Yet once again, I look forward to having them more join us in a couple weeks' time in terms of what it is that we'll be discussing next. We'll post that to our Instagram, so make sure that you follow us there. If you like the video, make sure that you like, comment, and or subscribe -- ring that bell and all that other stuff that you're supposed to say at the end of a YouTube video that I freaking hate.
That you're saying it, not me.
You get it. But until next time.
Well, you forgot to say follow us on Instagram at the Knights of Nerd Podcast, on Twitter at the Knights of Nerd Podcast,
At
also
the Knights
on
of
Facebook
Nerd.
at the Knights of Nerd
It's
Podcast.
at the Knights of Nerd. It's just the Knights of Nerd. It's not the podcast. It's just Knights of Nerd.
You can see how much Shane uses
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes. So much.
Hey, I posted tonight.
He did. He did.
You did. You
I
did.
did.
That's more than me.
Yay.
So I didn't actually say anything.
But until next time, my name's Brendan. I'm the Nerd of Many Faces. That's been Shane at FDScosplay, and that has been the SassySwede. So until next time, thank you for joining us at the round table, and we look forward to our next discussion.